Hello, here it is, another review, this one from A Deadly Habit by Simon Brett. Now, let me tell you, this book I wasn't too sure that I was going to finish it. I was kind of thinking along the way through that I might even go fairly low with the rating, but I'm glad I stuck with it. And let me start off with the blurb, which is rather brief. It says, rehearsals in a new West End play are disrupted by a sudden violent death in the intriguing new Charles Paris mystery. Having landed a small part in a new West End play, The Habit of Faith, Charles Paris is dismayed to discover that his good fortune has been orchestrated by his bête-noire, the now famous screenwriter or screen actor Justin Grover. But why has Grover become involved in this relatively obscure production, and why has he roped in Charles to star? From the outset, the production is fraught with difficulties, and matters become more complicated when the body is discovered at the foot of the dressing room stairs. Did they fall, or were they pushed? Excuse me. As one of the last people to have seen the victim alive, Charles Paris is drawn into the ensuing investigation and discovers that more than one person involved in the play has a scandalous secret to hide. The reason that I wasn't sure if I was going to finish this book has nothing to do with the book itself, the writer, or even the plot. It was the fact that this is a Charles Paris mystery number 20. Yes, number 20. Obviously, the series is successful, as there are close to two dozen books up to this point. However, I hadn't had the chance to read any of the previous books, so therefore I wasn't familiar with the character Charles Paris. I wasn't familiar with his tendency to be an amateur sleuth, and I wasn't prepared for some of the scenarios involving his life. Now, before I give you my thoughts on the review, I will make a note that the series began in 1975, and here we are in, 2018, so it's been going on for quite some time. A good research tool that I use to discover information about series is called FantasticFiction.com, and that's how I found out how many books are in the series, when the series began, how often they're written and released, and so forth. Now, my thoughts are almost as brief as the summary, and pretty much is, here Charles Paris is an actor who has not worked in several months. Suddenly, he's cast in a play that he didn't even have to audition for. While he's excited about this, he's working on something in his own personal life. He's an alcoholic, or a very, very heavy drinker, who has a chance to reconcile with his wife of many decades. The caveat is, he cannot come back to her unless he stops drinking. So a lot of the story is devoted into his attempts to attend certain groups in order to control the drinking, in order to satisfy the wife's requirement, because despite his womanizing ways, he really does love his wife, and he does want to go back to her. Meanwhile, a murder takes place, and Charles, in one of his drunken episodes, isn't quite sure what happened, but in his sober moments, he realizes that it's kind of up to him to discover what happens. So this is where I wish I knew a little bit more about the character, because I guess this is what he does, is he finds ways to solve murders or solves crimes. So he goes ahead and he strives to identify the people that may have been involved, what this woman or this character who passed away, I'm sorry, I just spoiled that it was a woman, but I'm sorry, but what caused her death, who caused her death, and whether or not he may even be a suspect in her death. There's a couple interesting things that I want to mention about the book. One is it does talk a lot, and I've said this once, about his alcoholism and how he strives to overcome it. Sometimes his viewpoint isn't is not politically correct. Whether it's the character's viewpoint on drinking isn't correct, or the writer's viewpoint on drinking isn't correct. But nonetheless, little jokes are made here and there about it, and I wasn't really quite sure about how I felt about that. I went ahead and gave the book 4 stars. I started to give it 3 or 3.5 stars, but part of the reason I did go ahead with 4 stars is because it is a successful series and it has a successful following, and I feel that if you like Charles Paris or you've read his mysteries before, the Charles Paris mysteries before, then you probably would enjoy this book. So that's the name of it, is A Deadly Habit. Again, the author's name is Simon Brett. You can check this out. You can click the link below that I will add to this end in the description. I will also briefly mention that as an Amazon associate, if you should buy this book via the link, that I will make a few pennies that will go towards future books that I would buy. This does not affect the cost of the book on your end, but I am required to mention that out of fairness. By the way, I got this book from NetGalley, and the review is on NetGalley. It's on my blog. It's on Amazon. It's wherever social media outlets I was able to post it on. All right. Thank you for your time and enjoy. Bye-bye.